Yeah, out there you'll see the 75 Dodge D100 with the 318. And the reason I'm making this vid, of course, you try to make things to be helpful to others on YouTube. That's the whole reason. You try to be altruistic, if that's the right word. Magnanimous. Well, not quite. But I was having a problem, and I alluded to this in my previous video, I was having a problem only in the heat of the summer, starting in the starting circuit. And and if you watch my previous video, I'll just give you a quick recap. The coil was wired backwards, and the ballast resistor was crappy. But if anything, if the ballast resistor failed, it would stop you while in run mode, I1. It wouldn't prevent you from starting, because starting bypasses the ballast. And I got to thinking about that. I usually do my thinking after the fact. Anyway, so the biggest improvement was just rewiring a couple of crappy wires and reversing the polarity of the coil, which was reversed. I wish I had a schematic diagram of how the coil was wired internally to explain it to you, but one thing is a fact. If you reverse, and I'm getting to a point here because I'm going to show you something I invented today. I think it's effectual. Sorry, I'm hoarse. I've been outside in 101 degree temperatures for about 6 hours working on this truck today, doing various things. Glove box is on the way. It's been shipped. Anyway, where did I leave off? So the problem was on hot days, starting it either initially or having a non-problematic initial start and then driving it for a while, stopping it and then restarting it, not getting a spark. Reversing the coil wires worked fine, but I just wanted to improve things. And some mechanic suggested to me, just looking at the various schematics I pulled of the ignition circuit, a mechanic suggested to me to bypass the ballast. He said the ballast, a good mechanic. I'm also an engineer, so I'm not quite a mechanic. So I look at things from a different eye. He said, yeah, modern coils can handle the full voltage. Okay, so the measurements that I took at I2, and that's when you turn that's when you're starting, you know, when you turn the ignition all the way and then it flips back. When you're all the way and the starter motor is engaged, your coil is getting the full 12, 13 volts with the battery, and then it springs back. Then the coil is getting voltage drop through the ballast, which is about 10 volts, not 12. Roughly 10, like 9.85. That's the readings I'm getting. I don't know what's spec'd out, but that's what I'm getting. With a new ballast, and even with the previous ballast I had. So it's a reduced voltage by about 20%, roughly. And he said, just go bypass it's easy to bypass. You know, it's just bringing two wires together. And I won't even get into that. It's easy to do. And I did it. I bypassed the ballast today. I made a little, where's that thing? I can't find it. I made a little jumper with I can't even find the doggone thing. I don't know where it is. I made a little jumper wire, pulled the connectors off the ballast, jumped the appropriate thing, fired it up, ran like a champ. But I took temperature readings off the coil before and after. And before I bypassed the ballast, I idled the truck. Just at idle, I idled it for 10 minutes. I reached a peak reading of 165 degrees on the coil. It's pretty freaking hot, actually. And it's, by the way, it's 101 degrees today. So I'm glad I did it on a hot day. And then, oh, here's the jumper I made. So it was on the floor. There it is, right there. Okay, and then I bypassed with this jumper. I bypassed the ballast, let it idle for 10 minutes, and the coil reached a temperature of 180. And I really didn't like that. And it was still rising after 10 minutes. Still rising. And I felt, I don't know if the coils are designed to handle that or not, just because some dude told me that. Not willing to live with that, because at runtime, at I1, ignition 1, everything worked great. And I wasn't willing just to take this guy's word for it. But one thing is I wanted to experience, though, is, and also one thing I noted is that at I2, at start, I was reading a little, about 12 volts, but yet my battery was slightly higher than 12 volts. My battery was like 12.7, and of course that alternator voltage is 13.5. So there was a drop in there somewhere. So I got to thinking, I would like at start time, if I'm having a tough time starting, and this is a common problem with old Dodges on hot days, at start time, if I'm having trouble starting, I'd like to have full battery voltage on the coil at start, at I2, and maybe even at I1 for a few seconds. So I rigged. Now you tell me what you think about this. I don't know if I invented this, but I just did it with my engineering mind. And it works like a champ. I'm telling you, man. It works. Already tested it, full voltage test, everything. I rigged. Now here I go. I gotta do this freaking hood again. Oh, this thing is like 800 pounds. Ooh, okay. So let me go inside. I'll show you the push button switch. I put this momentary push button switch in. It's actually a switch sold by the auto parts store for a starter. It can handle lots of amperage. That's the fresh wires down there I need to tuck up in there. And what this does, one of those wires, here it is right here, it's a momentary push button switch, connects directly to battery voltage. Not to the ballast, but to battery voltage. Pardon me. The other one comes over and taps right into coil positive. So, if I want to, I don't have to, it's my choice. If I want to have maximum coil voltage at starting, and I'll go ahead and start this. I want to put this phone in my lap. I can push this, hold this switch in as long as I want, start it, and then release it. And I can have full battery voltage on that coil for as long as I want. I must have zoomed or something. And even if, well, I won't get there. I won't go there. And I can hold it in as long as I want to let the truck get stabilized, steady, whatever. But that'll give maximum, and I don't have to use it if I don't want to. If the truck starts fine. It doesn't need to be used. But, and just looking at the schematics, it will not affect the ballast whatsoever. If anything, if there's like 12 volts on the ballast and 12.8 volts from the battery, it'll just send current backwards through the ballast, dissipate a little bit of heat. But having that ballast there will not, there's no 12 volts meeting 13 volts directly through a wire. It won't burn any wires up because you got that ballast resistor in between that'll dissipate the potential difference. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. It's there if I need it. Let me stop it, restart it without. Now this is the typical. Sometimes the initial start is a little bit, it doesn't hit the spark initially, but after I stop and start right away, no problem. So it's usually after I stop it and wait and restart it, it might not hit initially. It might not spark right away. And that's why I put that in there, to give the coil maximum voltage. What do you think? I don't know. Might be there just for my peace of mind. It might actually be engineeringly functional. Stereo Police. Ciao.